I'd like to reconvene the meeting of the St. Mary's County Board of Education for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. If we could all please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First up is the superintendent and student member of the board update.
And I will make this brief, but there is much to celebrate. I don't want to give anybody short shrift. The first is that George Washington Carver has been named the 2026 Maryland National ESEA Distinguished School. This is an incredible honor. Last year, Green Holly was the only nominated school in the state of Maryland for this recognition. Back to back, now George Washington Carver was named this year, and it was really built upon the incredible work that they've done closing gaps with multi-language learners, Hispanic students, and students identified as more races. They basically closed all achievement gaps, and they're right on track. We'll have more to come on that. We'll do a presentation and actually have staff in from George Washington Carver. This announcement was just made 2 days ago. So we'll bring that forward in either December or January for more formal recognition. We had our Veterans Day Parade, Chopticon Marching Band, Leonardtown High School Marching Band, Great Mills Marching Band. Our students came out, performed, were wonderful. We have had our all-county honors chorus concert last week under the direction of Miss Catherine Bohannon from Charles County Public Schools. An incredible night. Thank you very much, Mrs. Washington. We enjoyed spending our time together as we always do. It was followed by the middle and high school all-county honors chorus, middle school under the direction of Miss Casey Welker from Anne Arundel County Public Schools, and under Dr. It should be Dr. Brittany Johnson from St. Mary's College. She came down, just did an incredible job with those high school students. This week, we had the middle and high school all-county honors orchestra concert last night. Middle school under the direction of Miss Christine Hartigan from Fredericksburg, Virginia, did an incredible job. And the high school under the direction of Dr. Kira Omolchenko from James Madison University. An incredible night, incredible performances. It is so important that we give recognition to the hard work of kids and the support of their parents. If you attend Leonardtown High School, you probably are happy attending Leonardtown High School. Leonardtown High School is the 4A Maryland State Champions for girls field hockey. And they have not had that honor since 1994. And you'll see that one of the husbands of one of the people who attended Leonardtown in 1994 was actually wearing the jacket from 1994. An incredible honor. Those girls just left it all there. It was great. It's really great. So after a 31-year drought, they're back at it. Leonardtown High School, congratulations. And you think that would be enough. But Maryland, once again, 4A state champions for the Leonardtown High School boys soccer. An incredible team, an incredible coaching staff. Those are all alum that have come back, and their kids are going through, and they're coaching just an incredible game. It was as tight as a game can possibly be. You had to watch till the absolute final last minute. 1-0 score. Fall plays, Peter and Starcatcher with Shopticon. That was great. If you were there, I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Clue was last weekend at Great Mills High School. An incredible performance. Not only really funny and entertaining, but the parents and people that came in to help build the sets. It's incredible. It's a wonderful. I've been told that actually Ms. Willite said that they're going to be able to use a lot of the staff, a lot of the things that were created. They're going to be able to use those for the next play. Shakespeare in Love when we come back after Thanksgiving break at Leonardtown High School, and that will round out our fall high school plays. So, Registering Community Forum 2 happened last week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We had 330 people register. We had 202 people attend. Great turnout, great conversation, very actively engaged. I was very happy to see several students actually attending and working and providing input, talking a little bit about their individual schools so that people have a broad perspective of what's available within the school system. All of the materials, if you weren't able to attend, the presentation, the option packets, and the maps are all available online. And there is the second survey is up. to get your impressions from each one of those options put forward by our consultants, and that will be open until December 5th. Once that closes, we will take all of that data and all that information, and what I've asked is that the board, we do a work session in December. You originally put forth the system's priorities when we set it out to RFP, request for proposal. Canon Design in the first community forum asked all of those participating, and in the forum and in the survey that went out to over 3,000 people, what were their priorities. Now, considering Forum 1, Forum 2, your first priorities in the RFP, the priorities put forth by people as well as the results of the survey, I'm going to ask for a work session on December 10th so that we can give much more concrete direction to Canon as they go through their work in the remaining months of December and January and February, so they're ready to present their final proposals before you and before the board for consideration. So there's much work to be done. People are obviously engaged. Stay engaged. We'll be moving through the process. With that, it's November. 2 days left this week, 2 days next week, then Thanksgiving break. The schools are closed on the 25th. Everything's closed on the 26th and the 27th. I hope you can all find time to spend time with family. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Miss Vanessa Lee.
Hi everyone, so excited to see some new faces this evening. For those who don't know me, my name is Vanessa Lee and I'm the student member of the Board of Education. For what I've been up to lately, last week we had the St. Mary's Association Student Council's November Executive Board meeting. So we're planning for the upcoming December GA, so that's really exciting. Last year we had a bunch of middle schoolers turn out, and it's always really inspiring to see new faces come up in leadership so young. So I'm also planning a workshop on advocacy and legislation for next GA. And then we're also discussing key topics to explore for the Maryland State Government Accountability and Implementation Board. I serve on the Pillar 5 Advisory Committee on Governance and Accountability. So right now we're working on what we're planning to do for the rest of the year, primarily focusing on assessing equitable resources distribution and across school districts, especially in underfunded areas, particularly for college and career preparation. So I'm excited to get into that. And then I'm also excitingly preparing for the Maryland Association Student Council's Fall Leadership Conference. So the Maryland Association Student Councils is a state student government. So we all come together from all across the state. So like from Washington County, Montgomery County, all the way down to St. Mary's County. So that's really exciting. We're bringing a huge group, like 40 kids, and we're all going to come up this Saturday to Montgomery County and learn about leadership. So I'm going to be presenting workshops on Parley Pro, which is parliamentary procedure, as one of the state legislative affairs coordinators for MASC. Yeah.
Parley Pro.
Yes.
Nice. I like that abbreviation. All right, SMCPS, we lead, listen, empower, aspire, deliver. And with that, I turn it back to Ms. Bailey.
Okay, thank you. Somewhere I see Dr. Burrows. So we will have first up for our recognitions is the Superintendent's Art Gallery.
Dr. Smith, would you please join me with your clicker?
Clicker.
You want your glasses? No, for the next.
I don't need, well, you never know.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I might.
Thank you, sir. All right. Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Tonight, we are here to celebrate students whose artwork appeared in the first Superintendent's Art Gallery of the 2025-2026 school year. Each quarter, artwork for the gallery is selected for display here in the Board of Education meeting room and in the hallway leading to Dr. Smith's office. After every quarter, we then gather to celebrate our young artists. As I often say, thank you for your continued support of our programs. I am grateful for your belief in the arts and for understanding that the arts play a vital role in a child's education. Artists joining us tonight, when I call your name, please come forward to receive your certificate, and then we ask for you to remain. At the end of the recognitions, we will have an opportunity for individual and group photos. Please note the schools listed on the artwork denotes the school in which the artwork was created. So without further ado, let's celebrate our artists. First, representing Park Hall Elementary School with the piece Paint and Palette, Trinity Gunther Bowie.
We used to have a carpet.
Congratulations. And thank you to Principal Kellum for attending this evening. Representing George Washington Carver Elementary School with an untitled work, Megan Gallagher Calderon. And thank you to her art teacher, Miss McKenzie, for attending this evening. Representing Esperanza Middle School with the piece The Wave, Amelia Craig. And thank you to Principal Chilson and art teacher, Mr. Carter, for being here this evening. And finally, representing Greenview Knolls Elementary School with the piece Me and Fizz the Cat, Charlie Lewis. And thank you to Charlie's art teacher, Ms. Katsouris, for attending this evening.
Okay, and every time I do this, I always ask, does anybody want to say anything? Once again, you don't need to. Your art speaks for itself. Thank you very much for sharing your incredible gifts with all of us. It has been a pleasure to have these hanging on our walls. Please take them home and treasure them and know that we really appreciate your great skills. So just thank you so much. Oh, here we go. Big picture. Okay. Lovely.
So we're going to take a 10-minute recess. So all of the families, if you want to come up here and take pictures with your students and their artwork or group shots, however you want to do it, we will reconvene at 6:20.
All right. This is so great. Rolling.
They good?
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. So we are reconvened now at 6:21. We do not have a public hearing tonight, but we do have public comment. So,
You still
We
have.
still have American
You got.
education.
You got
Oh,
Dr.
my goodness,
Farrell
I'm
up
so
there.
sorry.
You got all the
Oh,
of the years
Dr.
hanging out
Farrell,
here.
where
These
are
are.
see, it's because I
We
didn't
wanted
do
them
my
up
training.
front so we wouldn't
I
forget
can't
them.
read. Sorry, Dr. Farrell. American Education Week, go.
Well, good evening. It's my honor to stand before you tonight to highlight the significance of American Education Week, scheduled for this week, November 17th through the 21st, 2025. Today, November 19th, we also celebrate Educational Support Professionals Day, recognizing the incredible efforts of all of our staff. This week serves as a dedicated time to recognize and celebrate the incredible dedication, passion, and hard work of our administrators, educators, and educational support professionals. Over 100 years ago, in 1921, the first American Education Week was celebrated, led by efforts of the National Education Association and the American Legion, as a way to emphasize the importance of education following World War I. Education is the cornerstone of our community's future, and the individuals who work tirelessly within our schools, teachers, administrators, and support staff, are the catalysts for inspiring our students and shaping their futures. During this week, we reaffirm our commitment to supporting their vital work. I am proud to highlight some exceptional individuals who exemplify excellence in education and in SMCPS. As I introduce you, please come forward. Dr. Deborah Denny, principal of Leonardtown Middle School, has been named the SMCPS representative for the Washington Post Principal of the Year, and she also received the Middle School Principal of the Year award from the Maryland Association of Student Councils, as well as the Leadership Champion Award from the Maryland Association of Secondary School Principals. Her dedication and leadership set a remarkable example for all of us. Ms. Tylita Butler, 8th grade science teacher at Esperanza Middle School, has been selected as the St. Mary's County Public Schools nominee for the Maryland State Teacher of the Year. Ms. Butler's passion for her students and dedication to innovative teaching exemplify the very best of our educators. Ms. Vivian Johnson is our contract and fiscal specialist in the Department of Design and Construction, who has been named the Educational Support Professional of the Year. Her hard work and commitment are vital to the success of our district and can be seen in buildings across our school system. Finally, we commend Ms. Sarah Penrod, President of the Education Association of St. Mary's County, and Mr. Jeff Thompson, President of the St. Mary's Association of Supervisors and Administrators. Their leadership and advocacy are essential to fostering a strong, collaborative educational community, as evidenced by their positive partnership with the Board of Education. So this is our opportunity to express our deepest appreciation for their dedication. Their efforts inspire excellence, foster growth, and create a nurturing environment where every student can thrive. Together, let's continue to support and uplift those who dedicate their lives to education. So Dr. Smith, could you please join us to present the proclamation?
Whereas the week of November 17th through the 21st, 2025 has been designated as an American Education Week by the National Education Association in an effort to celebrate public education and honor the individuals who make a difference and ensure that every child receives a quality education. And whereas education is the pillar of democracy and a cornerstone of American opportunity that gives our children the foundation they need to understand and appreciate our nation's values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas public schools bring together adults and children, teachers and volunteers, businesses, civic leaders, and elected officials who all have a stake in public education and play an important role in inspiring children to learn inside and outside the classroom. And whereas public schools provide our children with outstanding opportunities in academics, athletics, fine arts, vocational training, and extracurricular activities to equip them with the skills and knowledge needed to grow, thrive, and succeed in our global society. And whereas all education employees, including teachers, principals, assistant principals, administrators, counselors, paraeducators, custodians, cafeteria workers, office personnel, and other support personnel, deserve our gratitude, respect, and support for their professionalism and commitment to our schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of St. Mary's County, we recognize November 17th through the 21st, 2025 as American Education Week and November 19th, 2025 as Education Support Professionals Day in St. Mary's County Public Schools. We encourage all citizens to join people across the United States in showing support for public education and expressing appreciation to our school personnel by celebrating the education that our children receive from public schools. Signed this 19th day of November, 2025.
Congratulations to all of our excellent educators up front and those in the room and those at home watching. As we celebrate American Education Week, it's the perfect time to recognize how education is a team effort, and it takes all of us, teachers, administrators, support staff, families, and the community to fulfill the promise we make to every student. Today is also National Education Support Professional Day, and I want to especially acknowledge our paraprofessionals, bus drivers, building service, food service workers, secretaries, IT staff, and so many others who keep our schools running. They are often the first people students see in the morning and the last ones that they see at the end of the day. Their work is essential, and our schools simply could not function without them. So on behalf of ESMIC, thank you for your dedication, professionalism, and care for our students. We appreciate you, and we will continue advocating not just for recognition, but for fair pay, respect, and the resources you deserve.
All right, I'm Jeff Thompson. I'm the president of SMASA, the St. Mary's Association of Supervisors and Administrators. And I would say that what defines a school system is not the brick and mortar, it's not the curriculum, it's not the IT, and it's definitely not my personal favorite, the school buses. It's really the people. The people and the staff in our school system is what defines us. From central office supervisors and building administrators to the teachers, paraeducators, building service workers, school bus staff, food service workers, and all the others that contribute to the success of our students. You are St. Mary's County Public Schools. So on behalf of SMASA, we want to say thank you to all of our staff for what you do each day for our students, and because we look forward to making a promising tomorrow. Thank you.
I would just be parroting everything that was said before. The proclamation says it all.
All right.
Let's get a nice family photo there. All right. You gonna hide them?
Yeah.
Get your glasses. There you go.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Now.
Okay, no public hearing, public comment. So I have the list. I'm only going to read our public comment statement once. I'm going to call your name. I'm going to call two names. The first person comes up, and then the next person, if you don't mind kind of being, on deck so we can keep this moving. All right. So the first speaker is going to be Cora Clancy, and the second one is going to be Tiona Collier. Are they here? Okay, so you're going to come up here to the podium. And then while you're making your way up to the podium, I'm going to read this public statement that covers everyone. So the board welcomes public input on policies and issues affecting our schools. We take this time to listen and consider, but not to comment. This is not the appropriate forum for negative comments or criticisms of individual staff or students. Concerns about individual staff members that cannot be resolved at the level closest to the situation should be directed to the superintendent. We will not permit comments criticizing individual staff or students since it is outside the scope of public comment. Please keep in mind that we also sit as an appellate body in both student and employee appeals. We cannot comment on or have prior knowledge of a case that would influence our ability to deliberate. To maintain the ability of the board to render a fair and unbiased decision, comments regarding individual student or personnel issues cannot be presented. Speakers must sign it at the beginning of the meeting, which I'm assuming everyone has done. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and you may not yield your time to someone else. If you have written statements, if you give them to Kim, then she will include them as part of our board docs and minutes, and Kim is going to keep the time. So once you hear the buzzer, if you don't mind wrapping up your comments, so I don't have to stop you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Cora Clancy. Inclusivity in schools is relevant to now. The lack of kindness and empathy for and to each other is heartbreaking. I have one of my favorite teachers facing a lot of hatred and shame because of their identity. I feel as if the hatred is growing because we are not educating kids about inclusivity in schools. I want to have more school counselor-led classroom lessons with kids being able to share their opinions freely and openly. These counselor lessons should have education on respecting LGBTQIA, all races, cultures, religions, and socioeconomic backgrounds. These topics are perceived as something that we people would have already known how to accept, but rather we want to have them we would rather have them respected and have equal and equitable dialogue between each other in schools. We need more inclusivity in our public education environments. Thank you.
Kiona, and then after Kiona is Sam Kirk.
Hello, good afternoon. We often talk about the core mission of public school, and at its heart, that mission is simple: to ensure every student has the resources, safety, and encouragement needed to thrive. This mission is incomplete without genuine commitment to LGBTQ+ inclusion. Inclusion in public schools is not about advancing a specific political agenda. It is about recognizing the humanity and dignity in every learner in your care. When LGBTQ+ students feel marginalized or invisible, their ability to focus, learn, and grow is severely compromised. Studies consistently show that hostile school environments lead to higher rates of absenteeism, lower academic performance, and significant mental health challenges, including higher risk of depression and anxiety. By actively promoting inclusion through inclusive curriculum, supportive staff training, and comprehensive anti-bullying policies that specifically protect gender identity and sexual orientation, we fundamentally challenge the school climate. We are telling these students you belong here. A school that is inclusive by definition is a safer school. When students feel seen, respected, and valued for who they are better equipped to learn. When we make the effort to create environments free of harassment and discrimination, we remove barriers to education for LGBTQ+ students and simultaneously foster a stronger sense of empathy and mutual respect among all students. The goal is not tolerance, it's full affirmation and integration. Creating an inclusive environment allows all students, regardless of their background or identity, to achieve their full academic potential, which prepares all young people to live, work, and lead in a diverse world. Let's commit to building schools where every single student can walk through the door feeling safe, respected, and ready to learn. Thank you.
Sam Kirk, and then after is Angela Shamboda.
Queer students and staff have the right to exist in an environment where they can feel safe and seen. When there is no direct policy written down to enforce this, it means enforcement is not consistent, allowing students and staff to feel unsafe expressing who they are. Students and staff shouldn't have to live in fear, wondering if the students, teachers, and staff around them will show up and support them, or if they're a safe space. However, with a proper Inclusivity Act, one that is consistently enforced, this will be the outcome. Students deserve to be seen and heard. They deserve to feel safe in their space of education.
After Angela is Christina Stone.
Hi. I am a queer parent of an out child attending St. Mary's County Public Schools. I'm here to implore you to adopt an inclusive schools resolution. I'm doing so because it matters. It matters for everyone, like my family, to be recognized by the schools, and it matters a lot more to the overall community than you may realize. Most importantly, the passage of an inclusive schools resolution most affects those you'll not hear from. You won't hear from them because they're isolated. They're the ones who need us the most. They're not reaching out a hand for help. They're not able to come here and talk to you because they're led to believe that no one is here for them. An inclusive resolution is concrete proof to them that we are here. We should be taking the hard steps toward the vulnerable, not expecting or waiting for them to do so to us. The current stance is that problems will be addressed as they come up, but how many problems are we actually hearing about? How much silencing, isolating, or othering is going on that doesn't get reported, that we don't hear or see? An inclusive schools resolution addresses this by making a stance clear and consistent. We are here for all students. It recognizes that some are more vulnerable than others. It reaches that hand out to them first, makes them feel seen, heard, respected, and treated the same as all other students. You've heard many testimonies before about how LGBTQ+ students are the highest demographic in schools with mental health problems. This means what we're doing now isn't enough. The Inclusive Schools Resolution is how we do more. Not doing so is capitulating to those who don't want us to exist as we genuinely are, who act like our mere existence is something that can't be acknowledged or isn't somehow appropriate for schools. It's capitulating to silence, waiting only for the worst cases that get the most attention to be addressed. That's the lesson that's being taught now. What is the kind of education that we want to give our students? That we reach out and care for the most vulnerable, or that we look away from those who need us the most?
After Christina is Michael Hendricks. Sorry.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Christina Stone. I live in Great Mills. This is my, I believe, third time addressing you all regarding inclusivity in our schools and the systemic issue of there are systemic issues of discrimination within our schools that can't be ignored. We have teachers who have been ran out of town for their identities. We've had students who are scared to talk to their peers, to their teachers, to their counselors about who they are because they're worried about whether or not their parents are going to find out. If there's if a student goes to a teacher to explain these things to them, it's because they are scared to talk to their parents. We have that culture, we are fostering a culture within St. Mary's County that could be better. I grew up in St. Mary's County. I grew up all through public schools. I learned about being queer in public schools through bullying. It wasn't the bullying that was the problem. The bullying will happen. The problem is that at no point when I was being comforted by teachers or peers or counselors did anybody tell me, even if you were, it would be fine. And just to have that reassurance that I was not going to grow up some kind of freak, that I wasn't going to grow up being consistently othered in schools. Society as a whole starts with schools. When we raise our kids, when we support our staff and we support them through life and we tell them that who they want to be or who they are is okay, whether or not they remain with it, whether or not they change it. I mean, for some people, identity is fluid. It'll change throughout the day. If we tell them that they are okay to be as they are when they come into schools each day, we remind them that they are safe to learn, that they are safe to thrive, that they are safe to grow. Our LGBTQ students and staff deserve an environment where they can thrive. Teachers who can be more relatable to their students. They have more success with breaking through those barriers, those age barriers, because the teacher can relate to their child, to their student in a different way. We have to foster these inclusive policies so that we can continue to have a more inclusive society. So students who may grow up not knowing whether or not they're a member of the LGBTQ community can finally realize and grow old in their safe in their identity. Thank you.
After Michael is Nat Kane.
I'm here to support LGBTQIA+ students and teachers in St. Mary's County. I believe it is important for public schools to be inclusive spaces, and I think the board should take action to officially recognize these issues. Inclusive schools should be a priority, and I'm concerned by the board's lack of action so far. Thank you, and I would like to just take this time to once again reiterate that this is very important, and I think you guys should really take the time for these families. Thank you.
Good evening. I don't have any prepared remarks. I live in Lexington Park. Like a lot of my colleagues around here, this region, I think about things in terms of risk, severity, detectability, and when we're talking about LGBTQIA students and staff, the risk is clear. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people, 10 to 12, 10 to 14. It's the third leading cause of death among children 15 to 24. And LGBTQIA students are more than 4 times more likely to commit suicide. The risk is not detectable. People are marginalized, silenced, and don't feel safe to speak out. But the mitigation is clear. Students with access to inclusive spaces in school and at home are at a significantly reduced risk. Schools who offer young people the ability to participate in extracurricular activities and clubs with explicit protections against marginalization are safer. Transgender and non-binary students who are able to change their manner of address on official documents are at reduced risk. Transgender and non-binary people who report having pronouns respected by all, or at most people in their lives, attempt suicide at half the rate of those who don't have their pronouns respected. Like a lot of people in this region, I also understand about policy deployment. And when a policy is insufficiently documented, it's insufficiently applied. Please adopt explicit protections for LGBTQIA students and staff. Thank you.
Okay, so that next up is the subject is redistricting. So I'm going to jump around. I'm going to actually ask the students to come up first. So first up is Balin Derby, and then after that, Piper Tarleton.
Hello and good evening, board members. My name is Balin Derby. I'm a sophomore at Leonardtown High, and according to all 3 proposed redistricting plans, I will be spending my last 2 years of high school at Chopticon. While this produces more level enrollment, it prevents us being as successful as I know we can be. Take me, for example. At Leonardtown this year, I've upheld a 4.33 GPA because of a teacher network I know and understand. Moving to Chopticon forces me to learn a new network and choose from a less robust AP program, thus inevitably lowering my cumulative GPA and lessening my chances at obtaining the AP Capstone Award. I've held the position class president for the class of 28 this year and last. Moving me to Chopticon decimates my likelihood of ever being elected for class office again. Removing me from my class prevents me from learning valuable leadership skills and how to advocate for people who can't advocate for themselves. My class and I are codependent upon each other, and separating us hurts both the class and myself. I'm also a member of SLAC, and being moved to Chopticon would take me off of SLAC because the principals choose representatives. I'm in the Student Advisory Council at Leonardtown, which could also be jeopardized if I was redistricted. I know sports aren't the main focus of this redistricting, but they should be considered when they have real-world consequences. Being moved to Chopticon obviously takes me off the Leonardtown football team. And have you considered how that affects athletes' chances of getting scholarships? With a football program like ours, dedicated to helping athletes get scholarships through recruiting, tutoring, and teaching real-world people skills, athletes are much more successful in the recruiting process than Chopticon. This is evident in the number and type of recruits each school produce every year. Taking me away from coaches that I've already built a lifelong bond with compromises my progress towards becoming a successful college athlete. And lastly, the things that really make me a Raider. I'm the defending Gobble Down champion, a devoted follower of Christ in the FCA, a competitive member of Spikeball Club. I will travel to Vermont with several classmates in this room in January on our Leonardtown Ski Club ski trip, and I'm an aspiring co-leader of Clash Royale Club. Even if Chopticon were to offer all these clubs, they wouldn't be the same because they wouldn't be filled with my family, the Leonardtown community. Please don't make me abandon my family for the last 2 years of my high school career. I second my mom in proposing a grandfather clause to keep students already in high school at their schools if they can provide transportation. Thank you all for your time, and go Raiders.
After Piper is Ethan Johnson.
Good evening, esteemed peers and board members. My name is Piper Tarleton, and I'm currently a sophomore at Leonardtown High School. I live in Hollywood, and in every option so far, I am being redistricted. While I do understand that nothing is final, I would like to speak on the importance of a grandfather clause. Over the 2 years I've been at Leonardtown, my grades have been exceptional, and I have also been a part of the National Honor Society, girls soccer, basketball, and lacrosse teams, and I am currently in the Academy of Health Professions program at the Tech Center. First, I would like to discuss my commitment to the Leonardtown girls soccer team. This June, I underwent ACL reconstruction surgery. Therefore, in the fall of 2026, I will be newly returned to sport. Adding the acclimation to a new school and a new soccer program, this would make this process much more strenuous than necessary. I will also have many limitations that only a coach who knows my situation could handle. If my injury isn't handled properly, there could be serious repercussions setting me back another year. One thing my family has said to me numerous times is that in my recovery, I need to come back to a positive support system. My coach at Leonardtown is another reason that I couldn't imagine switching schools. During the summer, I went through the hardest point so far in my life. Not many people were directly there for me. She made sure that she was checking up on me not only physically, but mentally. To know that she valued my contribution to our team that much, just over 1 year, made me much more motivated in my recovery. It has put me into stress after realizing that this relationship I've made could all be jeopardized. A new coach just simply wouldn't understand nor know my personality and what I need in my recovery. As a sophomore, if I were redistricted to attend Chopticon next year, that would give me 2 years left of high school. I only get to live the high school experience once, and in this case, I would only get to live half of it. Not to mention the importance of senior year. Those memories last for a lifetime, and having to start from scratch halfway through could be detrimental to my high school involvement, including my participation in clubs that will also cultivate positive memories. My goal in high school is to get into a good college, but also create a favorable evocation of high school. I understand that each of you is doing this because it is necessary. This transformation could happen over a gradual period of time and keep students at the same school. It would prevent disturbing current families of Leonardtown High School and students. I do not expect you to accommodate just me because I told you my situation, although I hope that you consider that each student of Leonardtown has their own story and deserves the choice to continue going to school at Leonardtown. Thank you.
Right, so after Ethan is Andrew.
Hello, board members. My name is Ethan Johnson, and I'm currently in 10th grade in Leonardtown High School. I live in the middle of the Wildwood area, and because of this, my home is not directly affected by the proposed redistricting, and I will continue to go to Leonardtown. But that is not the case with many of my friends and other students who have moved to a new and foreign area and will need to establish new networks in the middle of their high school experience. They will also have to make new friends, learn a new school, and change their daily schedules, all to fit the needs of the board and their goals of balanced utilization. These students also face a threat of losing their athletic programs and potential scholarships. As you mentioned earlier, Leonardtown boys soccer won the 4A state championships last week. These boys have had great chemistry from playing together for years, and taking some of these boys away can prevent another great athletic achievement, not only in soccer, but also other athletic programs across the school. Another key element in a redistricting proposal will be academic opportunities. Right now, many of my peers, like myself, have a strong academic plan for our futures. And to be guaranteed that the track and plan that me and all of my peers have made can be fully executed with this redistricting. This redistricting will disrupt major academic progress with many students who have already established themselves in Leonardtown High School and with teachers who know their academic prowess. I'd also like to talk about how someone like me, who isn't directly affected by this proposed redistricting, can feel some of the similar effects as someone who directly has to change schools. I have many friends who have moved to Chopticon, and not only could they feel lonely with their friends who stay at Leonardtown, but people like me who would stay at Leonardtown and lose their friends could also feel very, very lonely with most of our friends leaving. Also, kids moving from Leonardtown may feel very isolated in their new school because of a deep rivalry in St. Mary's County high schools. And this can make it a lot harder to establish friend circles and connections, which could have a major impact on their mental health. Thank you all for your time, and I hope this helps you reach a conclusion on the proposed redistricting. And also, please keep in mind the ideas and needs of the students themselves who currently reside at Leonardtown and feel placed there. Thank you.
So after Andrew is going to be Adrian Derby.
The quaking aspen is a single plant which, despite being one organism, takes on the appearance of many trees. Just as if you were to uproot these trees, uprooting students from their current high school will damage the entire community and student body. Good evening, board members. My name is Andrew Jago. I am a sophomore at Leonardtown High School. I'm here today to express support for grandfathering in whatever redistricting plan is chosen by the school board. My household is not directly affected by the redistricting whatsoever. I live on Medley's Neck Road, about 5 minutes from the school. You all have heard from the students affected directly, but I am here to tell you that this change affects us all. The effects of uprooting students, my peers, from the communities they are so deeply embedded in affects everyone involved detrimentally. Many students, including myself, are involved in numerous clubs, activities, and more specifically, leadership positions. These sort of activities involve students heavily, with not only the school itself, but the students reciprocatively. And for the students being moved, these sort of experiences are not nearly guaranteed for them. I myself am the class of 2028 secretary in my school's Slack, student government, NHS, and many more similar groups. Many people are being moved are in a similar situation as me. For me, redistricting risks losing important members in these groups, and for them, it means missing out on life-changing opportunities and experiences. I understand that with grandfathering comes challenges. Among these, busing and transportation, as well as a slower result. However, I strongly believe that these challenges are heavily outweighed by the overall harm this will cause our students and community. On top of this, it is my belief that a compromise could be reached on transportation. For example, giving students the option to transport themselves. Any effort and thought put in by the board to reduce these harmful effects would be greatly appreciated. I believe as a student leader and scholar, it is my unwritten duty to speak up in situations like these, to bring light on differing students' perspectives, and to highlight the broad effects of this change, not only on students and family directly affected, but also the entire community and student body. Thank you for your time.
After Ms. Derby is going to be Matt Funk.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Adrienne Derby. I'm the parent of Balin Derby. Sophomore at Leonardtown High School, Harper Derby, a freshman at Leonardtown, and Bristol, a sixth grader at Leonardtown Middle. We've grown roots in Leonardtown Middle School and Leonardtown High School, but Cannon has proposed us to go to Chopticon in all three options, and Margaret Brent Middle School in option 1. I'm not here today to talk about boundary lines or property values or how we got here in the first place. Redistricting isn't a seamless transition. It's a disruptive reset button. Expect a year of adjustment, a rebuilding year, where everyone struggles to adapt. Teachers are forced to understand new student needs, implement curriculum, and rebuild classroom communities. Students are forced to navigate unfamiliar hallways, build new networks, and make new best friends. This transitional period inevitably leads to decreased academic performance and a general feeling of unease, hindering the progress of every student affected and risking their mental health. Our primary objective today is to deliver a strategic implementation plan designed to minimize the disruption to our students' lives and our families while reaching the board's goals through planning over time. Solution 1, Balin handed out some handouts for you guys. If redistricting is unavoidable, we urge a phased-in approach implemented only at the naturally occurring transition points entering high school and middle school. Use these natural inflection points as a student's academic career, making the transition to a new school less disruptive rather than forcing a change mid-level. Solution 2, we employ the board to adopt a household unit policy like grandfathering, allowing a household with students currently enrolled in a school the option to keep household students in that same school. We understand this would likely not include transportation, but we not only want you to consider the short-term impacts to the students already enrolled in high school, but the impacts to those household logistics for their incoming siblings. Solution 3, we recommend an alternative if both the first and second option cannot be implemented. We ask for an exceptions process to be applied, allowing families to justify their own personal circumstances and allow for a specialized solution. We must carefully consider the long-term consequences before disrupting the stability of our students and their need to thrive. This has nothing to do with Chopticon. This has everything to do with uprooting a family ingrained in the Leonardtown High School ecosystem. We've had some students here speak tonight to tell their story regardless of which communities are determined to be impacted. We ask that you hear us out and consider the impacts. Thank you.
After Mr. Funk is Chris Derby.
Good evening, board. My name is Matt. I'm a parent of 4 kids that have been through St. Mary's County Public Schools. We actually moved here. We've been in Southern Maryland for almost 27 years, which is hard for me to say. We actually moved here in 2012 because of some of the specific opportunities that St. Mary's County offered. We moved over from Calvert when our first daughter was starting middle school. So we've had all 3 go through Leonardtown Middle School and Leonardtown High School. So all the normal things, and I'm sure you're familiar with them, but PTA and sports and band and yearbook and theater and all the things that we've been involved in. And I'm not saying that I'm special in any way. I imagine you guys went through all the same thing, but I just want to reinforce that the families build a relationship with the school. And so I'm very sympathetic to the constraints that we have on the schools and the systems and the loading. But I do share the community concern about the disruption that redistricting can cause. I did want to say after Mr. Smith's, or Dr. Smith's yield proclamations at the beginning, I think I need some whereas, but I didn't have time to work all the whereas into the speech. I'll try to get one in the end. I think we share a common goal to enrich and educate our children as they grow. And I think the community is here with different concerns and different solutions that can all achieve that goal. So I would like to ask the board to consider the approaches to minimize the disruption on the families and households. There are potentially other ways to use the resources, the schools, the facilities that we have to achieve the same goal. Specifically, I do think that it's important that the kids be allowed to continue in their school that they're already enrolled in, as some of the students have said. And then I also think it's very important that households are given the opportunity to keep that household together, like a household unity or grandfathered in, to keep the kids from the same family going to the same school. There's a lot of reasons for that. I obviously don't have time to go into it. Reflecting on the education week that we had, the awards at the beginning and stuff, this is about doing what's best for the children. And I think we may disagree on how to achieve that, but let's focus on making sure that we minimize that disruption to the student success, that we're supporting the kids in every way. Personally, I have an 11th grader and an 8th grader now, so next year they'll be 12th and 9th. We've requested to also host a 12th grade foreign exchange student. So it obviously makes sense for me to keep those students in the same school for a lot of reasons. I wouldn't want to take my 12th grader and move her for her senior year. I wouldn't want to bring that foreign exchange student over for her 1 year and have her go to a school all by herself. And then of course my 9th grader, it's a lot better for her to go to the same school as her sister. So just to reiterate, I think offering a continuation policy for students that are already enrolled in the school and offering some sort of approach to keep households together going to the same school can achieve all those redistricting goals within the constraints that we have, while helping keep the student needs at the forefront of what we're doing. Thank you.
All right. Good evening to the board. My name is Chris Derby. You've heard from my wife, my son. You see my two beautiful daughters. Thank you all for this evening. Redistricting has been presented as a necessary establishment and adjustment for SMCPS, and our family concurs it is. We see the data and we understand the driving line behind it. The questions that we have are: how soon? What's driving the urgency? Are there alternatives to this proposal that's been set forth that it shall be implemented in the 26-27 school year? We genuinely hope so, because the implementation, if carried out poorly, carries detrimental effects that undermine the foundation of a strong educational community. The board's vision surrounding optimized resource allocation and a strong educational community and equality across all schools genuinely carries merit. The unfortunate reality is that our students will be trapped in a transitional state, the rebuilding state, until the intended benefits that are envisioned by the board, which do carry merit, fully materialize across all the affected institutions. As students of Leonardtown High School are redistricted to Chopticon to balance utilization, how can the accelerated students be guaranteed that those AP course offerings will be available day one, operating fluidly? Students do not deserve to be forced into a rebuilding year, leaving behind a proven successful academic path that they're currently on at Leonardtown High School. I would ask the board to again, please consider the mitigation strategies as proposed by my wife that lay in front of you. The heart of a successful school is in the culture, which is forged from years of student-teacher networks. The ecosystem that Adrian cited didn't just come to life. It didn't just occur. Rash redistricting will eliminate these intangible bonds, forcing students to navigate these new social landscapes, rebuild relationships from scratch, and will sever valuable relationships with their teachers, coaches, and sponsors. SLAC, student council, and student advisory council appointments are achieved through trust. My kids will have to rebuild and reestablish those elements with members of different schools. Again, that will take time. They're capable, and they will, but they have to reestablish. It's work that's already been completed. Sports teams painstakingly build over the years, become fragmented. Coach and player relationships, NCAA recruiting opportunities, thwarted. You hit the reset button. I thank you all for your consideration, transparency, and commitment to acting.
Okay, we have no more public speakers. I don't think I missed anyone on the list. Yes, no? Okay. All right. With that, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Tonight's consent agenda consists of the approval of minutes of November 5th, 2025, personnel teachers. There are no administrative and supervisory personnel appointments today. Multiple contract awards for indefinite quantity, contract for building commissioning services, and multiple contract awards for indefinite quantity, contract for industrial hygiene services. With that, I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have one action item tonight. We have Ms. Audrey Ellis. She would make her way to the podium on the staffing plan.
As Ms. Ellis is getting situated, we have the special education staffing plan. Then we are talking about the introduction of winter sports and the importance of fan behavior. And then we're doing the October financial report. So if you might be interested in other things, we take no offense. If you step out, you're certainly more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting. But I just offer that as, I just offer that. So. And for my SLAC students, I'll see you next month. And thank you. Yeah, Andrew, yes. If you have your remarks, you can give them to Ms. Short. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Is Mary feeling okay? I have no idea.
Yeah, I can.
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's not on here. That's, she's trying.
And here we have Mr. Ryan Hanley.
So as you can see,
No,
I'm
don't.
not Mr. Ryan Hanley, but Mr. Hanley could not be with us this evening, so I'm presenting on his behalf. So put my old hat back on a little bit
Yes.
here. So
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Yep,
Never far from.
absolutely. So I'm here tonight just to talk a little bit about fan and spectator expectations. Around the state of Maryland last year, and personally within our SMAC conference, and a little bit within our own county, we had a little bit of a rougher winter season with fans and spectators. So we want to kind of set that tone this year before we head into games beginning in early December. Before we do that, Dr. Smith recognized we did have a fall for the ages kind of this year. Like, we've had a very successful fall. I think probably if we look back, someone's got to be a historian, but probably one of the best falls we've ever had in St. Mary's County. So we had 2 team state champions, as Dr. Smith mentioned, Leonardtown Field Hockey and Leonardtown Boys Soccer. We had 6 out of the 8 SMAC championships won by SMCPS schools. We had 8 regional team champions, 1 individual district champion, and we had great support from our fans, from our parents, from our student body, from community members, from senior citizens, from everyone who comes out and supports our kids. 24,000 plus in attendance on SMCPS campuses this fall. So again, quite a great fall for us. On to some points of emphasis moving into the winter sports season. Obviously, our goal of education-based athletics. Again, education-based athletics is, as you can see, promote positive sportsmanship, safe and supportive environments, reinforce our expectations not only for SMCPS but for SMAC and for the MPSSAA. We certainly encourage partnerships with our parents. We have preseason meetings with all of our parents and players. We set those expectations. Coaches have individual rules that are set by with the system expectations in mind. So we do everything we can do to kind of front load all that information to make sure that parents, coaches, and players all understand the expectations. Again, the role of parents in education-based athletics: model respect, teamwork, and integrity. Kind of support the coach's decisions, and then we all like wins. Trust me. And we had a great fall, but that is not the essence of education-based athletics. Education-based athletics is designed to enhance the school experience and help our student athletes become model citizens moving forward once they leave us. So wins are important, but it's not the most important thing. So we ask fans in this situation to think before you speak. That's not just coaches, that's also officials, which we'll transition to here in a minute, right now. So officials, we understand that, we hope people understand officials are human. They make mistakes. This isn't their full-time job. This is high school athletics. This isn't professional athletics. We are very fortunate to have the partnerships that we have with our officials associations. There aren't many of them out there. There aren't options to choose from. Most systems across Maryland only have one football association and one basketball association and one softball association or baseball association to choose from. As you can imagine, there are not a lot of people beating down the door to become a high school official, and half the time get yelled at. So we ask parents and we ask fans and students and spectators to please respect our officials. And if you're so inclined, you can click on that link and you can become an official yourself. I know officials associations are always looking for new officials. A lot of our officials groups, as you can imagine, are starting to age out. So the newer generation of officials has to really come out and support us, because without officials, we don't have high school athletics. So if you are looking for something to do on Wednesday or Friday night or Saturday morning, and you have an inclination to think that you could be a successful official, we would love to have you. So click on that link, visit the MPSSAA official site. You could search for how to become an official, and you will be directed to how to do that. So we really ask that people really respect our officials. Again, they are human. This is not their full-time job. They make mistakes. So they are out there for the same reason we are there as spectators, to support high school athletics and to support our kids. This is hard because when emotions run high, none of us think appropriately. So we just ask parents, fans, students to make sure that when their emotions run high, that they really take a look at what their actions are, what their words are, what those may mean. So I'm going to talk a little bit here about student sections. Like, it's really great that we have student sections, especially in our winter, right? We have different sections at different high schools. Kids come up with crazy theme nights. They dress in certain ways, and it's really exciting. And if that was all it was, that would be wonderful. But I've been a high school principal. I've been director of athletics. So I've seen this firsthand, many for my whole career, and it has gotten worse over the years. We have student sections that attack, that say things to individual athletes about their features. They call them out by their number. They heckle officials, and there's no place in high school athletics for that. So cheer, right? Cheer for your team. Be respectful of your team's opponents. All the effort and time that it takes to do that should be respected, should be warranted in how you cheer. So we ask, again, everyone to kind of make sure that they respect not just your own players, but the officials and the opponents coaches, the visiting coaches. We ask to never approach officials before a game, certainly during a game, certainly after a game. So we have a 24-hour rule that we have implemented in SMCPS. It's been in place for a very, very long time, specifically for this reason. And we go over this with all of our parents in our preseason meetings. So if you are upset about playing time, if you're upset about something that the coach said or did, we ask, especially after a game when emotions are very high, we ask that you take 24 hours and you revisit that once everyone is in a better state of mind. So that is one that has really served us well over the years, and that we ask people to continue, especially this winter. As far as communication with the school, there is a chain of command when you have a concern. Certainly, just like anyone else, we want to give our coaches the opportunity to solve your problem. We want the coach to explain to them. They have the firsthand knowledge of your child, of your student athlete. So we ask that you certainly give that coach the opportunity to address your concern first. If you feel like your concern has not been heard or has fallen on deaf ears, your next step is your athletic director, and so forth down the line before you jump right to the principal or to the director of athletics or anything like that. We ask that you give the coach the opportunity to solve your problem or to answer that. They're the best ones to answer that. They have the intimate knowledge of your child. And certainly, again, along the same line, the 24-hour rule, avoid confrontation immediately after games. So consequences of inappropriate behavior. So we have had some people removed from games this fall. Last winter, as I said, not only in SMCPS, but in SMAC and across the state, the winter season was a trying season for many public schools and private schools across Maryland. So you could be removed from events. You could be banned from coming back to future events. Certainly, it doesn't shine a good light on you as a parent or you as a student if you're a student fan. Certainly not if your student athlete is playing currently on that field or court. That certainly doesn't provide them the best situation either. So please just be mindful that your actions do have consequences, and that reflects poorly on not only your school, your family, your team, but also our county. I will note none of those folks that were banned or removed, completely, were from SMCPS. So visiting fans, hope you're listening as well. We do have a bag policy. This is a Southern Maryland Athletic Conference policy. When you've attended our St. Mary's County events, you may have been told that, they don't do this at other schools, that you're the only people that do this. It is a SMAC rule, and we do enforce it in Southern Maryland. And we do certainly enforce it in St. Mary's County Public Schools. So it's not the most popular thing, especially when it gets cold in the fall, when you're outside in November and you want a bag or you want blankets and things like that. So we are very mindful of those things. We are mindful if we have a mother who needs a diaper bag. We're certainly not going to make her go out to the parking lot to change her child. Though we do take things into consideration. But essentially, it keeps everyone safe. Student athletes on the field, spectators in the stands. You are able to bring a wallet or a small clutch. We've had this in place for several years now. We don't get as much, I guess, fight from our home fans, but we do get some fight from our away fans. So just keep in mind that we do have a no bag policy in SMCPS and across our conference. Other items obviously prohibited are listed there and should not be surprising to anyone. Safety first, collaborative decision making, clear expectations and consequences. Those are our goals here, to make sure that everyone understands that we do have rules, we do have expectations, high expectations, and if you do not follow them, there are consequences for your actions. We do have a tiered response. This has been in place for about 3 years. Knock on wood, we have not had to implement this at any of our 3 high schools. Those tiered responses between level 1 and level 5 pretty much range from something as simple as implementing smaller safety measures to level 5 being that only the student athletes and coaches and officials that are associated with that game are in the gym. So there could be no fans, no spectators, no anybody, depending on what the situation may be. So the tiers are just that. Tier 1 is a small implementation, small change, maybe a time change, all the way to Tier 5, your most, that would, again, limit attendance to just those involved in the contest. So those are proactive measures. You can click on the tier responses from this presentation. It'll explain all 5 of them to you. All of this is also noted in our SMCPS handbook, which is linked there as well. So we have a commitment to sportsmanship. Again, not only in SMCPS, our Southern Maryland Athletic Conference, and across the state, MPSSAA. So promoting good sportsmanship is a team effort. It does take all of us, players, coaches, parents, student fans, and community members. It takes us all. With that, if anyone has any questions, I will certainly do my best to answer. But we do appreciate everyone's demeanor at all of our contests now and moving forward.
No questions. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Anyone?
This was very good. So everybody knows what the expectations are. So that is a good thing, and the consequences of it for students, for parents, for community members, anybody who attends our games. So this is good that everybody knows. And how do you put this out to parents?
So we have our preseason meetings with all of our parents of student athletes. But we also post this on our websites. This is posted in our handbook, which is a public document. All these things, we do a lot of information sharing about good sportsmanship.
Okay, so I guess like it's student orientation. They orientated on.
So like when you go up, there's a sandwich board outside of the gate that tells you what you can and cannot bring in. And then before every athletic contest, they read an entire statement about good sportsmanship and, like at every single game. I mean, at our schools, I cannot necessarily speak for other ones in the conference, but at least at our 3 high schools, they do that.
That's good. That's good news.
Yeah, we have a set message that everyone reads before games.
So
good presentation.
I only have one suggestion. When they go to the SMAC conference, the clear bags might be a consideration, especially, as you get into the winter and the spring sports. Because, and I will also say, we are the only ones that really enforce the bag policy.
Yes, we are.
Because
We
the other 2 counties don't.
Well, and we'll continue to. So.
Right.
Yeah. And we hear it from the visiting fans,
Mhm.
but we tell them this is what we do. This is we remind them that it's a SMAC-wide policy.
Right.
And we're just implementing
The clear
that.
bags would get around.
Yep.
Just saying. I had to go with my hat and my gloves.
Civility seems to be a lost art currently. We'll all be better off if we can return to treating each other with respect and civility. People will be a lot happier.
And I can't say enough about our athletic directors, our high school administration, all of our safety and security, the police officers that are at our events. Like, they do an amazing job trying to come up with ideas and ways to encourage And we have home and visiting identified sections to try to keep people separate to minimize all the impacts that could happen from a heated event or something like that. So our school-based folks, they do an amazing job. So let's try to make it a little bit easier on them if we can.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. McCourt, we'll just keep with our informational items, then we'll circle back.
All right, good afternoon.
Can you plus that up
Yep.
2 more times? Bold eyes. Sorry.
How's
You
that?
were thinking it, but I'll just
Right.
say it. You made it that big on your screen, so there you go.
I did.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Good evening. So on the revenue side, for the month of October report, we have a budget of $300 million. Year-to-date revenues received were $118.5 million, representing 39.52% of our revenues received year-to-date. No concerns noted. For expenditures, there are no areas of concern. We have encumbrances totaling $197 million. Encumbrances and expenditures total $270.9 million, representing 90.32% of our expenditure budget. Are there any questions? Thank you so much. Anyone?
No. No questions.
No.
Ta-da!
Ah, there
It was just that easy.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. This evening, I would like to present our Special Education Department staffing plan for the 2026 year. Each year, as required by COMAR, I present our special education staffing plan with our application for federal funds, and then we submit it to MSDE. Our process remains consistent for staffing our system to support the needs of students with an individualized education program or an IEP. I'm here tonight to share our plan. There are several required components of our plan. Public input to the plan is sought on an ongoing basis throughout the year through caseload reviews, site-based administrative staff feedback, school improvement teams, and our Citizens Advisory Committee for Special Education meeting feedback, and from our Board of Education presentations. There's also a requirement to demonstrate evidence of maintenance of effort. And during the budgetary process, I work directly with the budget and fiscal services, supervisors, and site-based teams to ensure a continuation of baseline needs in special education and to identify additional supports that are necessary to support the ongoing needs. The 2026 budget planning works with the state and local funding sources to meet the identified needs related to students with IEPs, staff compensation, and student enrollment. And the next 3 bulleted components are just in the slide. Several variables are considered regarding staffing patterns needed to provide free, appropriate, and public education to all students with a disability in the least restrictive environment. Balanced caseloads are created with consideration of the student's needs based on their IEP. Caseloads are monitored on a regular basis by the school teams, as well as at the system level using the online IEP system, as well as eSchool. School administrators and IEP chairs work with their teachers to create balanced caseloads, considering instructional and compliance requirements. At the elementary school level, we have an average of 1 special education resource teacher per 200 students enrolled in the grades K through 5, and an average caseload of 18 students per special education teacher. At the middle school, we have an average of 1 resource teacher for 150 students enrolled in grades 6 through 8, and an average caseload of 15 students per special education teacher. And then similarly at our high schools, we have an average of 1 resource teacher per 200 students enrolled, and an average caseload of 18 students per special educator. For related service providers, we use a workload approach that considers the number of hours that are needed based on the student's IEPs and the specific needs of the students. So it's the time of services to be provided versus the number of students that's considered with this component of our staffing plan. Our staffing plan sets the goal of an average of 20 to 30 students for occupational and physical therapists' caseloads, and an average of 40 to 50 students per speech language pathologists' caseloads. For our regionalized special ed classrooms, we use a ratio-based formula of 1 teacher per 9 students. We average 2 para-educators supporting in these regional program classrooms as well. As we determine and continue to evaluate student needs, there at times are times where we bring in additional support providers. Our infants and toddlers and Gateway to Independence programs are unique and therefore require different staffing plans. Our infants and toddlers program has 1 teacher for 25 children, and our Gateway program has 1 teacher and 2 job coaches for the 18 students. To monitor and measure the effectiveness of our staffing plan, we utilize data systems such as the Special Services Information System, eSchool, and the Maryland Online IEP system. Feedback from administrators, supervisors, and team leaders is utilized to analyze the staffing allocations. The special education department and I work with school leaders to problem solve and resolve any concerns that may come up as it regards to staffing. Evaluation also considers family input, staff input, and we review our MSDE parent survey information and our MSDE report card data. And thank you for allowing me to present our staffing plan. At this time, I'll take any questions, and I ask that the board approve the agenda item as presented.
Any questions?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
No questions, thank you.
I got one question. Well, it's not really a question. I was wondering, do all of the counties have the Gateway to Independence program?
All of our counties have similar programs. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
may not be
I think
called
it's
the
a
Gateway
great
to
program.
Independence, but yeah, similar programs where we're looking at work readiness for our students.
I think it's a fabulous program, very encouraging, helps the parents. So I'm very encouraged by that.
Thank you.
That's all, just a comment.
Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Kathy?
No questions.
Okay. Then may I have a motion for this action item?
I move that the Board of Education approve local application for federal funds, LAFF staffing plan, school year 2025-2026.
Do you have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. As Dr. Smith mentioned an hour and a half ago, our next meeting will be on Wednesday, December 10th,
Yes.
with executive session at 8 and the open meeting beginning at 9. And
Yes,
with that, we are adjourned.